All right, so what I wanted to do, this is going to be one of the first modules in the marketing course. And then if you have any kind of questions on it, just let me know at the end. Okay. And what I wanted to do was figure out a way to structure all of these marketing trainings so that it's not jumping from one thing to another. Like instead of doing many chat automations one day and then funnel build outs and SMS sequences, like I want to give you guys a step 1, step 2, step 3. Or like everything you need to know from the jump. So like once you go through credit repair, you have your LLC set up, you get your business funding, then you get into the marketing and the sales side of it. And this would be step 1, which would be understanding your target audience. So I've ran half-assed campaigns before, and I've ran campaigns where I've done the work up front like this before, and you always save the most time and the most money if you do all of this research ahead of time. Like this is a lot of stuff here, but you only have to really do it once, and then you can apply it to your business throughout the course of its lifetime. So what this basically is like a market research and a target audience profile. And the reason it's important is because you want to understand at an extremely deep level who your target audience is. You want to know all of the problems they face, all of their pain points, basically what their current situation is, what about their current situation makes it unsatisfactory, or what makes them unhappy with their current situation, what their dream situation is. So like what the eventual goal is for what they want to get to. And then the bridge in between the current situation and dream situation, that's what your offer is going to be. And that's what you're going to be selling. Okay. And so basically, from the start, what you're going to want to do, and I'll duplicate this template here, and I'll put a link to it so that you can duplicate it yourself, and then you can just change the wording up for whatever it is your industry is or your business is. Okay. So for the overview, it's an extremely focused cheat sheet basically on your avatar. So you're going to want to create an avatar of like your ideal customer, and you want to understand them at such a deep level that you don't even have to really think about the copywriting, what kind of ads to run, what kind of videos to shoot, because you understand who it is that you're targeting at such a deep level that everything else is kind of second nature at that point. Okay. Then you only really have to do the work up front instead of spending a bunch of money on ads, testing different things, wasting a bunch of money, and then figuring out what works and what kind of offer to run. Okay. So you're going to want to have their current situation. So identify what your avatar's current situation looks like and go as deeply as you possibly can to list out all of the problems, all of the pain points that they have, literally everything that they're facing. So I'll show you the one that I did for Trevor, and you can do market research on this. So if you have a large following on Instagram, like Trevor has, you can do market research, and you can DM people that follow you and say, I'll give you a story shout out, or I'll send you $20 on Cash App or whatever, just to hop on a call with me, and you get like a sample size of 5 or 10 of those people. And you want to ask them a bunch of questions about where they are, what their current situation looks like, what about it makes them unhappy, where they want to go, and then what kind of, financial or time commitments they're willing to make to get there. And so for Trevor, his audience, a lot of his audience, the people that we're targeting for either the school community or for the mentorship on Turo or for credit repair, they don't know where to start. They have information overload. There's too many options in the marketplace. They have a lack of funds, a lack of skills. They're unsatisfied with their current situation. They're not living where they want to be. They're not in control of their time. They have bills. They're surrounded by the wrong crowd. They don't have a network of like people. There's no mentor, no one to walk them through how to get from point A to point B. And from there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dive deeper on like 3 to 5 of those things. So you're going to have a list of like 10, 15, 20, however many problems you can list out here, the more the better. And then you're going to want to select 3 to 5 of those, the ones that are the most likely to be the most common denominator between, if you have 100 of these people, what 3 to 5 problems are the majority of these people probably going to have. And then you're going to want to write out as detailed as you can, 3 to 5 sentences expanding on that. So for don't know where to start, The core problem often stems from an overwhelming sense of uncertainty and confusion. Individuals facing this issue may feel paralyzed by the sheer volume of decisions they have to make, unable to discern clear starting point or what their journey ahead looks like. They have analysis paralysis. There's so many ads that they're seeing. There's so many different options for courses and stuff to take that they don't know where to start. Same thing with lack of funds. Same thing with surrounded by the wrong crowd of people. And then same thing with no one to mentor them or get them from point A to point B and kind of hold their hand through it. Once you have that, then you're going to want to list out the desired situation. So you're going to go through the same process, but instead of the problems, you're going to want to list what their goals are. So financial freedom, location freedom, they want to get out of debt. They want to have good credit. They want to have their own business. They want to network with like-minded people. They want to have skills that are high-income skills. They want to create something of their own. They want to help their family. And then you're going to go through the same process. Select 3 to 5 of those and then go deeper and expand on them. So having their own business, desire to have one's own business, you're in control of your own time, your outputs are correlated to your inputs, you're contributing value to your community, so on and so forth. Then you get to your unique selling proposition. So this is where you bridge the gap between the first 2 things that you did. So the current situation, the desired situation, this is where your offer comes into place, and this is how you bridge that gap between where they are and where they want to be. So to bridge the gap, you want to think about what will make your audience know you deeply. So for Trevor, what I did is he's relatable, comes from a similar background to a lot of people in his audience. Got into some trouble, joined the military, started his own business. He had a couple kind of dead-end jobs, and then he figured out the power of credit and funding, and then he started his own business, and then he's where he is now. What makes them trust the creators? So this is, for Trevor, it comes down to the content that he posts, because he's always posting content where he's giving game and he's giving free gems and information that people find valuable. And then number 3 is, why should they believe the creator can help them get from their current situation to their desired situation? So he's done it for himself. He's helped his friends and his family do it. And now he wants to extend that to other people that aren't in his immediate circle. So the next step after that is the bridge. So with the current situation, list out 3 most important points in their current situation, then explain their situation in 1 sentence. So lack of funds, don't know where to start. Lack of guidance, the 1 sentence explanation. The user feels frustrated with his or her current situation with lack of funds and not knowing where to start. They desperately wish for someone to come show them and guide them through the steps needed to reach their desired situation. And for the bridge, you're going to list 15 to 30 steps. And this is a full breakdown of from somebody not knowing you to somebody reaching their end goal. Like, what does that look like? It's basically like your customer journey. So the step 1, is step 1 them seeing an ad and clicking on an ad? Is step 1 somebody reaching out to them in the DMs or getting on an onboarding call with them? So for Trevor, it's an initial clarification call. Starting the journey begins with a personalized call to understand what the user's current problem is. If Trevor can help solve that problem, what their current circumstances look like, the challenges they're facing, aspirations they have. Basically, it's like a strategy call where you are diving deep into the person's life, figuring out what their needs are, what their wants are, and then figuring out if you're a good fit to help them solve those problems. Step 2 is community access. So this is specifically for the school community. We get them onboarded into school. We get them to join other like-minded people like us, who a lot of these people, maybe they come from a tough background, a tough neighborhood or something, and they don't have people around them that are trying to better themselves and that are committed to self-development, learning, and education. So that's step 2. Then we take them through the full process of group calls. 3, I think we're going to start doing 4 live calls a week. So mine is going to be marketing Trevor has his credit partners that's going to do credit once a week. Trevor's going to do Turo. And then I think we're also going to do one for funding or something. We'll post an update in the group on that. And then the next step after that, once they get access to the group calls, is they have access to the course material that we're uploading, where they can learn at their own pace on all the different subjects that we're putting up here. They're going to get, if they don't already have the credit repair being worked on, they're going to get their credit repaired. They're going to get financial strategy education. So as their credit's getting repaired, because that takes a couple months, they're going to learn how to set up their LLC. They're going to learn different things they can do on their end to boost their credit score. You can sign up for things like rentreporters.com, where it takes like a 5-year history of your rent payments. So if you don't have any late rent payments, that's like a quick way to boost your credit score. Setting up LLC, getting them access to funding once the credit gets repaired, ongoing coaching, then business and offer structuring. So this is where like the business development and the marketing starts to come into play. And then, so once they have their LLC set up, we take them through the marketing and sales and the business development, where we show them how to create an offer, how to market the offer, how to generate leads, how to close the leads. And basically from zero to like successful business is the goal of what we're trying to teach. And then the completion and the end goal is continuous growth and successful business, having reached their desired situation, being financially free, being in control of their own time, etc. And then this basically just reiterates the fact that current situation is target audience's problem, desired situation where they want to be, the bridge in the middle, that's where your offer is, and that's what you're selling as whatever it is that you're selling, a product, a service, mentorship, whatever. So within that, we have the next steps would be bridge step 1, which would be onboarding, bridge step 2, which is education, bridge step 3, which is credit LLC, bridge step 4, which is business development. And then realistically, how long will the bridge take? We say roughly 6 months. I know it's depends on the person and what their credit profile looks like, but the desired situation. So to list out 3 important points in their desired situation, then explain their desired situation in 1 sentence. So 3 important points: money, freedom, and skills, 1 sentence explanation. The user desires acquiring the skills to help them reach financial freedom and the ability to control his or her own life trajectory. Then the final step is the transformation. So now that we have the current situation, the bridge, the desired situation, we want to put it all together in a single transformation. List it out in 1 sentence, just so you have, instead of having it in your head, you have it all on a piece of paper, or in this case, Notion. They're stuck in their situation. They are not satisfied with and don't have the skills, funds, or guidance needed to get to their desired situation. 1 sentence bridge explanation. We help them from whatever starting point they're at to develop the skills and funds they need to achieve whatever goals that they have. 1 sentence desired situation explanation. The desire for financial freedom and the ability to have control over his or her own life and decisions. And then this is basically just reiterating that again. You have the sad avatar, sad face, happy avatar, happy face, and then your offer is the bridge in the middle. And then here you have kind of transformation proof. This is more of kind of background on, in this case, this is the one I did for Trevor. This is Trevor's. So the business owner, the creator, the mentor's kind of life journey. Tough neighborhood, trouble, military, dead-end jobs, credit, funding, has his own business. Just having it in a sequence like that helps. So like another benefit of having something like this is if you do all of this up front, then once you hire employees, you don't have to train. So say you have all of this set up. You don't have, if you hire salespeople, for example, you don't have to train the individual salespeople. You can just give them this and they know everything they need to know to go sell your product or to go sell you if they're trying to get somebody to book a call with you. If the lead asks them a certain question about whoever it is that you're trying to get them on the call with, you have all of this information and you can answer all these questions. So what me and Trevor have, for example, is we have VAs that manage Trevor's Instagram DMs, and we're trying to get people to book calls with Trevor through the DMs. And we give them this so that they don't have to come to us multiple times a day, like asking, how do I respond to this thing or that thing? Like, they have it all listed out here. They know all the pain points. They know the current situation of the leads. They know the desired situation for the leads. They know like how Trevor is going to take them from A to B, basically. And then doing all this, it took me maybe 3 or 4 hours to do this yesterday, to do this for Trevor, and I do it for some of my other marketing clients. It takes a little bit of time up front to do, but once you have all of this, you're pretty much set as far as your marketing goes, because then each time you need to make a new ad, you don't have to figure out like what kind of copy do I have to write, what pain point should I touch on, what kind of like offer, structure should I change up my offer for this or that. Like, you already have all the market research on the front end to be able to effectively target the audience that you want to target. And then at the end of this, you also have ChatGPT prompts where you can literally take all of this whole document and say, feed it into ChatGPT with these prompts, and then say, based off of this data, I want you to generate me 10 or 20, short form video hooks, or I want you to generate me 5 or 10 ad scripts or social media captions or whatever. And then what I've seen with ChatGPT is the more data you give it like this, the better the results that come out. Because if I just go to ChatGPT and I say, I sell a course on Turo mentorship, write me 3 ad scripts, it's going to give me the most fucking corny GPT sounding ad scripts, where it's going to be like, discover the power of Turo, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to sound stupid and it's going to be pointless. So you might as well just write your own ad scripts at that point, because you're going to have to re-prompt ChatGPT for an hour until it gives you something that's decent, unless you have all of this up front to give it. And then, so, once we have all of this and we have our market research, we understand our target audience. Next week, what I'm going to cover is how to get yourself set up on all of the different ad platforms so that you can actually create campaigns and run ads to those target audiences. And that is pretty much it for that. So did you guys have any questions?
Yeah, so you're basically doing your bio, your profile to sell yourself, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So in this case, we're trying to sell Trevor.
Right.
In this case here, a client of mine who has a startup company that's basically you connect. It's a automated AI bookkeeping for small businesses. So if you have if you're a 1099 worker, you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business, he has a software where you plug in your bank accounts through this like secure app, and it automatically records all your transactions for you and shows you in real time, like, okay, this transaction and this transaction is a tax write-off. Here's why it's a tax write-off, and here's the link to the tax code showing you why it's a tax write-off. So for example, it's such a smart idea. Yeah. For example, what I did is his list of pain points: high cost for accounting services that a lot of startup entrepreneurs can't afford, inefficiencies in the operations, you have risk of human error if you hire a CPA that doesn't, spend the time he needs to do on your books, and then all of these different problems. And then I just went through the same exact thing I did on Trevor's, I did on this one, just go deeper into the problems. And then now, it took me a few hours to do this, but now that I have this, once I'm running the ads, it makes everything a lot easier, and it makes so that we don't have to waste as much money on the testing phase when we're running the ads.
Right.
So I don't know if you touched on this. I apologize, I came in late. But did you touch on paid ads as far as campaigning, or no?
Not yet. So what I wanted to do was each time I have these are also going to be part of the modules that we're going to upload for the marketing course. So
Gotcha.
each one that I do, I want to have it laid out in steps. So the idea is like when you come to the group, you get access to the community, you get your credit repaired. As your credit's getting repaired, you set up your LLC, you figure out how to structure your LLC and all that. Then once your credit gets repaired, you get business funding. And then when you get the business funding, what's the next step that you need to do after you launch your business? You need to understand your target market. You need to structure your offer. So each time I go through these marketing trainings, I'm trying to do it where it's a step 1, step 2, step 3, because if I go into marketing training number 1 and I start talking about like lead magnets and SMS automations and all this other crazy shit, and then it's just going to be jumping from like step 1 to step 10 to step 3 to step 4. So I want to lay it out where it's like first step, you do your market research, you structure your offer around what pain points your target audience has. Step 2 next week will be where I cover like how to get set up on Google ads, how to get set up on Meta Business Suite for Facebook and Instagram ads. And then the week after that, and I'll film some videos in between where I show you like how to actually set up campaigns and target the audiences and stuff like that.
Makes sense. Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, I need to hop off here pretty soon and help Trevor out before he has the credit stuff here in a couple hours. But I recorded this, and then I'm also gonna put a link to this template under the call recording, so you guys can you guys can duplicate this template. It already has it all laid out here for you, so you just duplicate it and then change the top part to whatever your business name is, and then you're all good to go.
Okay. So for my case, I would have to like for my case it has like a slash for /salon/academy, so I would need two templates, correct?
You could combine them. I thought about combining them because Trevor and I have multiple offers that we're running right now. So we have the school, which is our low ticket offer for the people that can't necessarily afford $5K for the Turo mentorship. But we also have the Turo mentorship, the credit repair, the business funding. It makes it, if the thing with like running an offer and running your ads is like, if you don't have a very specific avatar that you're trying to target for either school, credit repair, business funding, or in your case for one or the other, then it makes it so it's hard to tell what's working and what's not, because you don't know if like your offer is working for this segment of the audience that you're targeting, but offer number 2 might not be, you know?
Okay.
Cool. Well, I will see you guys and hopefully some other people here pretty soon whenever Trevor has his.
Yes, I'll be on that call also.
Awesome. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys hopping on.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Appreciate you.